on the assumption that they were not going to find any enemies. In other words, they came in ready to pick up Ukraine. And they didn't have enough fuel, the troops weren't trained, and that was the first mistake. They thought it was 1944, and it's Heinz Guderian, the German general who was attacking, and they've never recovered from that mistake. It had to, but what it really is guerrilla warfare without a jungle or a forest or something. So this is sort of how the Viet Cong operated. This is certainly how the Taliban operated. But in their case, they had terrain that wasn't flat, that wasn't open. What's extraordinary about the Ukrainians is they're using guerrilla tactics on terrain they should be wiped out.
Все, забирай РПГ. Все, выдвигаемся.
But they have one huge advantage of the guerrilla. There is no central command that if you destroy it, they lose the war. There's no way to break up their communications because they're not communicating. One thing we also have to remember that's unique here, the weapons that the Americans are providing them to fight with are built for this kind of autonomous battle. The Javelin anti-tank missile, which is extremely effective, is built to be carried by 1-2-man troop. Now we've had another surge of weapons in. So the advantage of the Ukrainians is both the fact that they are dispersed and that they're receiving weapons of extraordinary quality. World War II was a war of cities. The Russians advanced on Berlin. Kiev and other places were seized by the Germans. In their mindset, the prize is the city. That's the source of supplies. That's the support of direction. And the Russian doctrine that go after the city is helping the Ukrainians, tragically killing civilians. But they're capturing it, and it gives them no advantage in the field because that's not where supplies and communications flow from. Well, if you're going to have an armored war, your tanks have to be survivable, and they're not anymore. If you're going to have an air war, your planes mustn't be shot down. The anti-air systems that have been transferred to them will shoot them down. It's very good. Yeah, I didn't think they would last. I misread the Russian army. I thought the Russian army was more significant, more capable than it was. It took me several days to realize that it's not. And what I have to give credit to the U.S. is the rapid turnaround and the rapid sending of weapons. But we also have to remember that the Germans were sending weapons and the British were sending weapons before we were. It's a big country, a big population in Russia, and there's maybe time. The problem is this. The Russians never had first-class troops. They had brave troops, but not really superbly trained. It was the officers that moved them around and stuff. Well, now they don't have the very best officers either. As the beginning of the war showed, the generals didn't understand what they were doing. So they've got a problem in the officer corps that they can't quickly fix. And simply feeding more untrained infantrymen into the situation isn't going to help. The Ukrainians are highly motivated. The Russians want to go home. Well, they're going to have to, and I'm not sure what the Russians are capable of in terms of flexibility. They've shown very little flexibility in this. If they get knocked out of one theater, they go after another city for various reasons that I can understand. But they are in Poland. They are flowing. The training is going on, and they're going to make a huge difference on the battlefield. But what I don't know is, do the Russians have another 500,000 troops tucked away somewhere, able to come in as a second wave? Was their strategy to hit them with the first wave, destabilize the Ukrainians to what extent they could, and then come in with a second wave? There's no evidence that there is this second wave, but without that second wave, I don't know how the Russians win. Only if they have these reserves or a massive call-up, a draft, which they haven't done, and get them trained. You can't fight a war of attrition, only taking attrition. You have to have replacements. Well, particularly the Moskva, which was one of their pearls, going down hit them. But no, they didn't seem to understand that the U.S. was going to feed intelligence. And kind of for psychological warfare reasons, they were revealed that they were feeding intelligence. Because now every Russian soldier is wondering if the CIA is mapping them. So there are so many reasons why the Russians should give up, but there were so many reasons before Stalingrad that they should give up.
Yes.
The Russians fight.
Это видео.
Нахуя?
Ебанули БТР прям, блядь. Ебать. Здесь еще ебанули. Только ебанули, блядь. Наши, не наши, блядь. Ёбаный рот, блядь. Надо ебашить отсюда, сейчас БК ебанет, блядь. Уже 3 часа под обстрелами. Просто пиздец. Разъёб полный, блядь. Чё, не работает пушка? Не так. Рот, блядь.
Все, забирай РПГ. Все, выдвигаемся!